the book that proves your dream is more realistic than you think. Wishcraft, Barbara Sher. Most people abandon their dreams long before reality has a chance to reject them. They convince themselves that they are not talented enough, not lucky enough, too old, too inexperienced, or simply too late. Over time, their ambitions slowly transform into regrets. In Wishcraft, Barbara Sher challenges this entire way of thinking. She argues that the problem is rarely the dream itself. More often, the problem is that people have never learned how to turn a dream into a practical plan. At some point in life, almost everyone has imagined a different future. Some dream of writing a book, building a business, changing careers, traveling the world, becoming an artist, or creating something meaningful that reflects who they truly are. Yet for many people, these dreams remain trapped in the realm of fantasy. Years pass, responsibilities increase, and the gap between the life they want and the life they live grows wider. Barbara Sher begins Wishcraft with a simple but powerful observation. Most people are not failing because their dreams are impossible. They are failing because they have been taught to focus on obstacles instead of possibilities. From childhood, many learn to be realistic before they learn to be ambitious. They become experts at explaining why something cannot be done and novices at exploring how it might be done. As a result, countless dreams die before they are ever tested against reality. The book challenges the popular belief that successful people possess some rare quality that ordinary people lack. We often look at accomplished individuals and assume they were born with exceptional confidence, extraordinary talent, or perfect circumstances. Sher argues that this perspective is misleading because it ignores the actual process behind achievement. Most successful people did not begin with certainty. They began with curiosity, determination, and a willingness to take imperfect action. One of the central ideas of the book is that dreams become overwhelming when viewed as a single giant objective. A person who wants to become a writer imagines a finished bestseller. Someone who wants to start a business imagines a thriving company. Someone who dreams of changing careers imagines an entirely different life. The distance between the present reality and the desired outcome can feel so large that taking the first step becomes intimidating. Sher's solution is deceptively simple. Stop focusing exclusively on the final destination and start identifying the next concrete action. Every large accomplishment is built from a sequence of smaller, manageable steps. The challenge is not creating a perfect master plan. The challenge is developing enough momentum to keep moving forward. This idea is liberating because it shifts attention away from uncertainty. Nobody can fully predict where a long journey will lead, but everyone can identify a meaningful next step. Progress becomes possible the moment people stop demanding complete clarity before they begin. The book also explores one of the most destructive habits that prevents people from pursuing their goals: self-labeling. Many individuals carry limiting beliefs about themselves that were formed years earlier. They decide they are not creative, not disciplined, not intelligent enough, or not capable of success. Over time, these beliefs become so familiar that they start feeling like facts. Sher argues that most of these labels are based on isolated experiences rather than objective truth. A person may have failed once and concluded they are incapable. They may have received criticism years ago and decided they lack talent. They may have compared themselves to someone more experienced and concluded they should not even try. The tragedy is that these assumptions often go unquestioned. Rather than testing their potential, people build their lives around their fears. They organize their decisions according to limitations that may not even be real. In many cases, the prison exists entirely in the imagination. Another powerful theme throughout the book is the importance of reclaiming responsibility for one's own dreams. Many people unconsciously wait for permission. They wait for someone to tell them they are qualified enough, talented enough, or ready enough. They wait for circumstances to improve or for fear to disappear. Unfortunately, that moment rarely arrives. Sher explains that meaningful change usually begins when people stop waiting to feel ready and start acting despite uncertainty. Confidence is often portrayed as the prerequisite for action, but in reality, confidence is frequently the result of action. People become more confident by doing difficult things, not by thinking about them endlessly. The book also addresses the role of fear in personal growth. Fear is often interpreted as a warning sign that something is wrong. If a goal feels intimidating, many assume they should avoid it. Sher offers a different perspective. Fear often appears when something matters deeply. The presence of fear does not necessarily indicate danger. Sometimes it indicates importance. This distinction changes everything. Instead of asking whether fear exists, the better question becomes whether the dream is important enough to justify facing that fear. Every meaningful ambition carries some degree of uncertainty. The goal is not to eliminate discomfort but to prevent discomfort from making decisions on your behalf. One of the most refreshing aspects of Wishcraft is its practical optimism. Sher does not encourage readers to ignore reality or pretend that every dream will be achieved exactly as imagined. Instead, she encourages them to approach dreams as experiments. The purpose is not to guarantee success before taking action. The purpose is to explore possibilities, gather information, and learn through experience. This mindset reduces the pressure that often paralyzes people. Failure becomes less threatening because it is no longer interpreted as evidence of personal inadequacy. Instead, it becomes feedback. Every attempt provides information. Every setback reveals something useful. Every obstacle teaches a lesson that would have remained invisible without action. As the book progresses, Sher repeatedly returns to an idea that feels surprisingly simple but profoundly important. Most people know more about what they fear than about what they want. They have spent years analyzing risks, limitations, and worst-case scenarios while giving very little attention to their genuine desires. The process of identifying what truly matters can be uncomfortable because it requires honesty. It requires looking beyond expectations imposed by family, society, or habit. Many people discover that the life they have been pursuing is not actually the life they want. This realization can be unsettling, but it can also be transformative. A dream gains power when it belongs to you rather than to someone else's expectations. Motivation becomes more sustainable when goals reflect genuine values instead of external pressure. Toward the end of the book, Sher presents a vision of success that differs from conventional definitions. Success is not simply the accumulation of money, status, or achievements. Success is creating a life that feels meaningful and aligned with who you are. It is the ability to use your abilities, pursue your interests, and contribute something valuable while remaining connected to your authentic aspirations. This does not mean the journey will be easy. Every worthwhile goal requires effort, persistence, and resilience. There will be setbacks, doubts, and moments when progress feels frustratingly slow. Yet these challenges are part of the process rather than evidence that the process is failing. The final message of Wishcraft is both empowering and deeply practical. Dreams are not childish fantasies that must eventually be abandoned in favor of reality. They are clues. They reveal what excites us, what motivates us, and what kind of life we hope to build. The real danger is not dreaming too big. The real danger is allowing fear, doubt, and habit to convince you that your dreams are impossible before you have given them a genuine chance. Because most extraordinary lives do not begin with certainty. They begin with a person who decides to take one small step towards something that matters and then continues taking the next step, and the next, until what once seemed impossible slowly becomes reality.